One military camp. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Build your own military camp, manage the economy, recruit the best candidates, and train them to become elite specialists. Send them on missions across the land to end the war once and for all. First things first, guys, it has quite a few graphical options and just general options you can read behind the keys and so forth, considering it's like a £25 game or so. So it's just kind of right in the middle of the price between budget games and AAA. And you get a surprising amount of content for your money, and it looks nice as well. The game has a campaign mode and a sandbox mode where you can choose your maps, the place where you're going to build your base, the map you're going to fight on. You can alter all the different parameters to make the game as hard or as easy as you want. So if you find the campaign a bit too tough, you can come into this mode and just tweak it and twiddle. Now, essentially, in a nutshell, you have to defeat these kind of pantomime villains, if you like. It's all cartoony. On the big battle map, they'll have their different bases, and you have to work your way through all the different territories, because at the beginning of the game, they're all controlled by the enemy. You have to liberate them, and as you liberate all the territories, you will finally get to the enemy base, and then you have your big showdown. As you liberate certain areas of the map, you will gain the resources that they had. If it's a village, you will gain new recruits. You'll gain taxes as well. You'll gain new places to buy the stuff that you need to keep your army on the road. Your logistics, you have stuff like oil, you'll need food, you'll need ammunition, of course, and medical supplies. You need to buy all of these things in early on until you can make them yourself. Now, there's a ton, and I mean an absolute ton of buildings that you can build to make this a lot easier for yourself. You start off with basic buildings like barracks, houses for your workers, barracks for your soldiers, houses for your workers. You'll need maintenance huts, so you can get people to maintain the buildings and deliver food from where it's created or dropped in to the places that it's needed, such as the mess hall. Same with other things like ammunition, fuel, and stuff like that. You also need a whole load, and I mean a load, of training facilities, because the way this works is your guys start off, as you recruit them, as green as grass coming through your door. They'll be nothing. You might have a few that are strong, some are intelligent, some are fast runners, and you have to kind of evaluate them. Some might have bad perks as well, and you have to evaluate them to see what kind of infantryman or woman they're going to make, and where's the best place to put them. There is tons and tons of specializations in this. It starts off with basic things like artillery, comms operators, just infantrymen and stuff like that. Then you get into specialized divers, hackers and things, and to get there you go through the whole Air Force, tanks, all kinds of stuff, spies, just to get from the bottom to the top of the elite specializations. And to do that, you have to level them up. Now, you level up not only their profession, so let's say there's someone, an artilleryman, they will level up being an artilleryman as they go into combat and train as well on the base, but you'll also have the individual things: speed, strength, intelligence, accuracy, and things like that. Now, as they get leveled up, they will then qualify to be promoted to a completely new specialization. Now, as you liberate around the map, you click on a province that you're going to go into. There'll be maybe 2 or 3 little areas that you can land your troops, and each area will have a requirement to actually fight there. You might need, I don't know, say 2 comms and an artillery for that actual fight. So you have to have them people ready and able to go on the fight. And as you assign them to that fight, you will see how well they will do in strength against the enemy forces that are lying in wait for them. And so you have to make sure your troops are strong enough to win that battle. So you need to be stronger than the enemy, stands to reason. There's RNG in this. There's things that could happen during the battle, decisions that you might have to make on the fly. So it's all of that kind of stuff. And as you get further away from your base, the battles will become increasingly harder. You will need more specialized troops to do it. You won't be using the basic stuff like comms. You'll be using divers, snipers, and things like that. So you have to kind of keep training your troops all the way. And to do this is when you use all of the buildings that I mentioned earlier. But to get them, you have to research them. So you need a very strong research in this game, because you need to get things researched as soon as possible. to buy the buildings, get the buildings down and recruit all the soldiers and level them up to the new skill levels. And all of this costs money, and this is where a lot of people are tripping up with this game, myself included. On my first game, I ran out of money because you have to have wages paid, you have to buy things, you have to buy food in, you have to buy the oil, you have to buy the ammo at the beginning of the game, and every time you liberate a province, you will get a reward money, usually about 9,000, and if there's people living there, you'll get like a rent off them, like a tax. So all that helps. But you will still be spending way more than you're getting in as you progress further and further into the game. Now, what I did was, because it's such a long game and I don't have all that much time, I don't know how many hours I've spent on it, probably about 10 or 11. I got halfway through the campaign and then I went into the sandbox mode, twiddled it, and give myself a bit more money, turned a few things down, and it was very manageable in the campaign mode. So if you, in the sandbox mode. So the game is very versatile. I don't think it needs any heavy balancing at all at the minute. A lot of people think it does, but I haven't really got to that very end game, so I don't know how imbalanced it becomes at the end. But the developers are certainly, they just released a big patch the other day. This game came out of early access, I think, on the 20th of this month. So, well, last month now, and 20th of July, I think. So the game is fairly new. It's great fun to play. I get lost in this game completely. There's so much to do, so much to sort of think about. But there is areas when there is nothing to do because it is a slow game, but you have the speed control, so you can speed the game up. You can turn it right up to fast mode if you want. But it does get a bit repetitive, as I said. The battles and the way you have to manage your base does get a little bit repetitive. Your base does get attacked with drones and things later on in the game. But overall, it's going to be one of them hit and miss games, isn't it? It's doing well on Steam at the minute. I think it's 73% positive. I'm certainly thumbing it up. It's not Game of the Year by any means, but for £25, it'll certainly keep you occupied if you like your little base building, your little management games, and you like a little bit of a war. I didn't really like the characters and the dialogue. I didn't think it was funny at all. I just skipped a lot of it after about an hour. It all became a bit there. I also think that my favourite part of the game is definitely the sandbox. I found the campaign very shallow, to be honest. It's basically just a big map with the 3 villains that you have to defeat at different parts of the map, and you're just pretty much doing the same thing over and over again, just taking down the provinces till you get to the camps where the enemies are, and then you have your kind of main fight with them. There's not much more to it than that, unfortunately. At least in the sandbox mode, you have a lot more options that you can twiddle with to get a little bit more out of the game. So that was a bit disappointing.